Do you enjoy a great tasting homemade manoush with za'atar made on a sage? Come along with me and I'll show you how to make it quick and easy. Yalla! Hey guys, Musa here from Quantum Home Improvements and Solutions. Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to show you how we make manoush with za'atar. And so manoush is actually very popular, especially around the Middle East, and there's a million different ways of making it. But za'atar is probably the most popular, and even with za'atar, there's many different variants. And so we grow our own herbs here, which is oregano and thyme. And so I'm going to show you how I actually make the za'atar, how I make the dough, and then how we cook it. And we cook it on this sage. Cooking bread on a sage is very traditional, and there's a bit of a story behind this one, and I'd like to share it with you. So my father was a welder, and he had welded for many years, and with arc welding, MIG welding, all different types, and all those gases unfortunately damaged his lungs, and he died of emphysema. So this sage is very special to me. It's the last thing my father made before getting gravely ill and then passing. So if you look inside here, there are some bricks, and they're clay bricks, and they're there for a reason. So if you're cooking with timber, timber itself fluctuates in heat a lot, and you've got to keep putting timber in. So the bricks are there to absorb the heat and then radiate the heat so to make it more consistent. But saying that, gas is actually more consistent than just using timber, and that's why sometimes I'll use the gas, but I do use both methods. So I have actually made adjustments to this sage, and I'll put some wheels on here. So these are swivel wheels, and there's just a standard wheel on the back. And so I can wheel this around quite easily because this sage is really heavy. So this makes it a lot easier for me to push around. We love manoush with za'atar, and Tyne and my dad, we use this sage regularly, and it works fantastic. And so we've got some friends coming shortly, and they're gonna help us make the manoush and also be our taste testers. So I better get into it and make the dough. And so the recipe is pretty simple and easy. In actual fact, it's my wife's recipe, and she uses it also for our pizza base. And it takes about 2 hours from beginning to end, including rest time. So I will put the ingredients in the descriptions below. So the flour I'm going to use is White Wings Premium All-Purpose Plain Flour. The yeast is Sachet of Dry Yeast. And the oil is Cobram Extra Virgin Olive Oil. Going by the recipe, we need 1.5 cups of lukewarm water. We'll just pour that into this bowl. We'll put in the dry yeast. I'll just put a whole sachet in it. I'll just stir that around. Just activate that yeast. And it's recommended that you leave this yeast sit for about 5 minutes. And so next, you can either put honey or sugar. Now I will be putting 2 teaspoons of honey. And I'll stir that in. That will take a bit of stirring. Honey is quite thick. Okay, now I'll place 4 tablespoons of olive oil. Now I'll put in the flour. And so it's 4 cups of flour, and that works out to be 650 grams. I actually weighed that out, so I know it's 650 grams. So I'll put the flour in. I'll put 1 teaspoon of salt. It is recommended that you use sea salt, but I don't have any, so I will be using table salt. I'll just mix that in. I'll just pour in the water and yeast. And just mix that in. So you need to knead this dough for a fair while to really make it work well. That is looking really nice. Nice and malleable. Still wet, but not overly. Now this will expand more than twice its size. I will put just a little bit of oil on top of that. All right, so now I'll put it in a warm place and sit for around about 1.5 to 2 hours, and it's ready to make the manoush. While we're waiting for the dough to rise, I'm going to put the za'atar together. And so the za'atar is made of a number of different ingredients, but I do have some issues with food, so I tend to keep it very simple, and there's literally a million ways of making it. So in this case here, I'm going to be using oregano, which is also known as oregano, some thyme. There's not much thyme here, and that's not a pun, but I do have some stored away, and I'll be adding to it later. We also use sumac. So sumac is quite an interesting spice. It comes from the Middle East, or it's very prominent in the Middle East, and it comes from the poisonous sumac family. But the sumac comes in a white berry and a red berry. The red berry is actually edible. Also put a bit of salt. And finally, I put in some sesame seed. And the brand I use is Galaxy. I find them really good and very reliable products. So what I basically do is crush the oregano. And you see there's a fairly big pile here, but the pile will come down in size as I grind it. So we grow our own oregano and thyme, along with other things. So I picked these a few weeks ago, and I put them in a dry spot and also out of the sun, and just let them dry very slowly. Then as they dried, I then pick the leaves off the stems, and then I let them sit in these trays for a little longer until it really dries out well. So you can put this in the machine and get them blended, but I personally wouldn't advise that, because you still have a few stems in here. And if you put that in your za'atar, that's not going to taste too good, and it's going to be very sharp in your mouth. There's a very strong smell with this oregano. It's such a beautiful smell. So as you can see here, the oregano has now collapsed down to about half its size, and it will collapse down even further. Okay, so it's the exact same process with the thyme. So look how that's grinding down. Beautiful. All right, so I'm just going to sift this thyme now. That's sifting beautifully. Okay, so I'm just going to crush them a little bit more. Okay, I'll just sift it again. So you just keep repeating this process until you get the fineness that you're looking for. Okay, so I finished grinding down the thyme and the oregano. So I have added extra to this thyme. There wasn't enough here, but you can see how fine that is. It's really, really good. And the oregano, on the other hand, is actually a large quantity, and this is going to last us a fair while. And so when I do sift it, I do use two different types of sifters. So first I use a more open weave sifter. Then I use a fine sifter, and so it really gets it nice and fine. And I do prefer it fine because it distributes the taste on the manoush much better. Okay, so now I'll just fry up the sesame seed. And I'll put probably half the packet. So you've got to be very careful. You've got to keep this moving pretty quickly, because it does cook very fast once that pan is hot. Okay, you can see them now really starting to become caramelized. And the thing is, you can go from that color to black pretty quick. And that's looking really good, actually. I'm almost tempted to take that off now. So just keep stirring for another few minutes if you're going to keep it in the fry pan. And that's a nice caramelized color. Very happy with that. Okay, so I'll just transfer it to the plate. Now I'll put the za'atar together, but remember that there's many different ways of making it, and it depends on what you're used to and your palate. So first I'll start with the thyme, and I'll put in 1.5 cups. And I'll do the same with the oregano. Some people put a lot of sumac in there. I'm only just going to go 1 cup at this point. And now I'll just add the sesame seed. No hard and fast rule with sesame seed. And again, it depends on what you're used to. That's looking really good. I think I need a bit more sesame seed. So I will taste this before I go too far. And the best way to taste it is by making a small batch. So you do need to put a bit of oil in this. Just a little bit more oil. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Very nice. That's got a nice kick to it. Okay, so everything's set up. The dough has risen. It's rested for 2 hours. And so now I'm going to break them up into little balls and get them ready for making the manoush. So before I start, I better put on my apron, which my wife bought me. Musa, king of the barbecue. I think she was mocking me. So I'm making them roughly 50 mil diameter. Okay, so we'll just leave it for a minute and we'll fire up the Sage. Our guests have arrived. Mario, hello. How are you?
Very good, yourself?
Let me take from you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, Ronnie. How are you?
Good, yourself?
Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah.
Kiara.
How are you?
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Hi, baby.
How you doing, Carl?
Okay, so I'll just roll out the dough. Okay, I'll just let that sit for a minute and do a couple more. So some of the guys wanted me to do a spin.
That's it.
So that pizza spin was for Vera, honouring Ronnie.
Italian connection.
Okay, so I'll just roll one more and then we'll start making the manoush. All right, so now we've got the dough. We'll just put it on top and we'll just let that cook and you'll see it bubble up. Now, I don't know if I've got the temperature right here. I might have to drop it a little bit. I can see it's just a little bit hot. So it is cooking quite nice. And you can see it all bubbling up. So what I do is just let it cook on one side, then I'll spin it around and then put the za'atar. Okay, that's good. So I did put a little bit more sesame seed in the za'atar. I'll put just a little bit of mint. Thanks, Vera. Okay. And so now I'll just take it off. So it's a little bit too hot, but it's going to still be fine. So I'll just let that cool down a little bit. And then I'll get Vera. I'll get Mario if you want to come and give us a hand. Ron? Yep. We'll do the next ones. I'm going to put 3 on there, guys, so all of you. Yeah.
If I hold the plate and you guys put them on, what do you think?
Yeah. Just a little bit more.
Beautiful.
You turn around and lift that way. So
Hey, Ron, you're an honorary Lebanese.
I don't know whether I should take that as a compliment or as a...
Oh, come on, Ron, don't be like that, man. That's it.
Oh, that's
beautiful.
Beautiful.
that one little.
Okay, put it stuff on. Get the hang of it. I'll make it Lebanese out of it yet. What do you reckon? Good to go with this one?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Leave it. Yeah, that's right, the guys have got it down.
Okay, go for it.
I think that's enough.
Yeah.
Well, that's beautiful. Isn't it
Yes.
ready? Or this one ready?
Maybe just, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
You got this one.
Yeah.
Get the cheese on this one.
Oh,
Sorry.
No, you're all right, you're right.
Okay. Can you get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, get more, yeah.
All right, guys, let's taste it. I just made this za'atar.
Perfect.
Very good.
What do you think of the mix of za'atar, Vera?
Perfect.
Good. I don't like the bought ones. It looks too green.
Yes.
Yeah, and this one here is the proper colour.
I'm with Musa.
But do we have to mention as well Musa's late father?
Yeah, thanks, Mario.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
And it cooks really good.
Yeah. You know what? Seriously, this machine it's incredible. I had never used it before. I just wanted to make it because I saw my grandmother using it and aunties. And so the first time I fired it up and we made the manoush, I was so impressed, and it just brings that beautiful memory of my dad. This is his last project.
I remember the time you did it. It was
Yeah.
so good.
But there is something nice about cooking it either on like the traditional way with the wood, and on this, it comes out so much different than if you were to do it in the oven.
No,
Don't you reckon?
but you know what? Just standing here
Yeah.
around the
Yeah.
fire, like
It gives you a sense of
outside.
You can smell that nice dough smell. I mean, what do you guys think of the dough?
perfect.
Beautiful.
Melt in your mouth. It's very nice.
Thank you. That's Tina's recipe, by the way.
Very nice.
Beautiful, quite authentic.
Thank you. So you had the one with the labneh. How'd that taste?
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that.
What I'm
I was
saying,
looking for
it's
that one. I
really-
wanted to try that one. Yeah,
really
it
feels
is.
right.
It is. Yeah.
So I made that labneh myself, and
Are you going to do one with labneh? How to make labneh?
I will be doing a video on how to make yogurt and also how to make labneh, which comes from yogurt.
That was very nice.
It was very nice.
The beer is perfect.
I love pale ale. Okay, guys, thank you very much for joining us and to help us make the manoush. It's very good to have good friends with us.
Absolutely.
It was a pleasure.
Cheers.
Beautiful. Cheers.
Salute.
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 And to all of you viewers as well.
Okay, so that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. And if you have any comments, please leave them below and I will get back to you. And I'd ask if you please consider to subscribe, hit the like button and share this video. And there's many more videos to come. Alamakun.
Arrivederci.
Cheers!
Bogom.
Now, Habibi Pierre won't help us, so I'm going to get his wife Vera to help.
Musa, I swear, you know what, if it's only because I like your wife so much,
Excellent.
this is not what I agreed to.
This is not under the contract. You know what, Vera? If you come around the other side,
Yeah, okay.
you won't be so much in the camera.
Okay, that's good. But then with
Yeah.
that camera, I'm
Oh,
not
you're
stupid.
so much.
No, that's not.
I'm in the camera on this side, I'm not stupid.
No, I'm on the camera at all. You're fine.
What
Vera,
about that one,
it's only a camera. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Now the camera is on. Let's do it. Ready?
Is this your
And-
profile?
Okay.
Hey, Mira.
No. It's on camera, by the way. I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it. Vera, I wasn't sure how the bloopers were going to go. I really wasn't. But now I.
You better not put them in, I swear.
But Vera, there's three things. She's been drinking too much, man.
I'm sorry.
Not enough.
Veronica, you're driving.
Yeah, you're driving. We're all driving too. Yeah, you're driving.
Veronica, I'm driving. Yes, I'm driving.
And there's more videos to come. What am I saying?
Alamakun.
Alamakun. Oh, man. Descriptions below and I will get back to you. And if I... Oh, sorry.
I'm gonna drink a lot of beer.
Okay.